Hello everyone, so this is going to be my first video. It's called Alone but Okay. I am someone with a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas, a lot of things going around in my head, and I thought that would be a good idea to open a YouTube channel because I can yap and no one can stop me, so that's fine. I have been thinking a lot about the difference between being alone and feeling lonely, and I thought that for the first video it would be interesting to talk about this. I've realized that for most of my life I have never been really alone, like completely alone. I was always surrounded by people, by my family. From a very young age, I grew up with a very big family, a lot of siblings, a lot of grown-ups, and from 17, when I was 17, I got into a relationship that lasted for almost 4 years. So I was constantly with people, with friends, with someone, in a relationship with someone. I never really felt the physical solitude. But then after my very first breakup, I was 21. I sort of crashed out, the post-breakup psychosis. I was crazy. I went around with a lot of people. I was really trying not to feel lonely. That was the whole point. But then last year I started living alone because university was done. I finally got my degree. I got my job. So I started living alone, like very, very far away from my loved ones, my family, my friends. I had to learn what it meant to be really alone, like physically, mentally, entirely alone. Feeling lonely, I would define it as something missing. It's like an emptiness. Most of the time it happens that people feel lonely when they are surrounded by people, and it's a feeling of emptiness. As I said, you feel very empty, something is missing. Some people will make a correlation with romantic relationships, but most of the time people are not missing someone but missing something. It could be a goal, a life goal, a job, a feeling. Well, even after my breakup, I had friends and family checking up on me, and they were there for me, but there were moments where I still felt extremely lonely. I still felt emotionally disconnected from other people, from everyone. I felt like something was deeply missing, and in this specific situation it was in fact a romantic relationship. We had 4 years sharing something very intimate and romantic connection, and then it all got away. Everything shattered in front of me, so I felt disconnected, I felt numb. But yes, I was surrounded, but I still felt lonely. And then there's being alone. Being alone is when you're physically by yourself, which happens to most people. You are physically alone. Sometimes it's by choice, sometimes, life makes it happen and you just have to accept it. When I started living alone, this is when I had to get used to being physically by myself. I still had people who cared about me, who called me, my people, my friends, my loved ones, my family. They still called, they still came over during holidays and stuff, but for once, for the first time, I had to accept the quiet and the stillness of my own company. I had to accept that I had to be by myself, and I couldn't change anything about this. I couldn't move on. I wouldn't be able to be where I am today if I didn't learn that, girl, you need to accept it. Like, this is something that is currently happening. It's not gonna change. You need to accept it. It was very complicated at the beginning because I needed to train myself not to be constantly surrounded by people. I needed to force myself. That's when the switch happens, actually. When you force yourself to be by yourself, I couldn't call people all the time. I couldn't be surrounded by people all the time because people are busy. When you reach a certain point of life, you cannot call people all the time. You cannot hang out with people all the time. You have work, I have my job, I have a lot of things to do, and I just realized, like, most of the time when I wanted to be surrounded by people, it's because I wanted to get away from my thoughts and my feelings. When I got all by myself, something I've discovered is that I got to know myself so much better. There were so many things that I actually didn't know about my own person, and I got the opportunity to acknowledge that yes, you were in fact missing something yourself. You were missing information about your own person, like who are you? And it helped me. It helped. And I think the most important part of all of this was to understand that being alone didn't mean feeling lonely. I could actually switch my mindset, and I could actually see my life the way it really is, instead of minimizing the things that I've got. I've got an apartment, I've got a car, I've got a job, I've got a lot of things, and I wasn't even thankful. I was sad. I was like, well, I'm lonely, like I'm all by myself. I learned that solitude can also be a gift. Accepting it helped me reconnect with myself and finding peace in my own company. And even though right now I have been in a relationship for 7 months now, and I'm very happy and very and very sane in this relationship, because when you hate feeling lonely, you can be toxic. You can develop patterns that are not good, and lonely is nothing but a feeling, and being alone is a state, something that you cannot change. When you're alone, it's mostly physically alone, like you are all by yourself, and it is just a state. So I'm trying my best to accept being alone. It has been amazing. This whole reflection taught me so many things about myself, and it's important to take this time to reflect about this and to think and to say to yourself, I'm alone, but I'm mostly okay. Whatever, this was my reflection of the day. Bye-bye.